Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually when we talk about disruption in an industry, we're talking about an app or AI or some algorithm that promises to do the work of 50 people in a nanosecond.
Right. Speed and scale.
We're obsessed with it. But today, I want to slow it way down. I want to talk about something that technology usually kills, but according to our research today, might actually be the only thing that saves a specific industry.
We are going back to basics today. We are talking about trust.
But not just trust in some, abstract kumbaya sense. We're talking about the mechanics of trust.
Yeah.
How do you manufacture a feeling of safety in a digital environment where everyone is skeptical by default?
And to do that, we're looking at a fascinating piece from Jamaica Homes.
Yes, the article is titled Reimagining Trust, Presence, and Human Connection in Jamaica's Digital Property Market.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but the core thesis is, it's incredible.
It starts with this headline that I just love. Before the for sale sign speaks, the agent already has. It's such a heavy concept.
Yeah.
It implies the battle is won or lost before you even pick up the phone.
That's the reality of the modern market. And the article frames this as a sociological shift. We're moving away from what we'd call transactional relationships, where I just want to buy a thing from you,
Right.
to social accountability. And look, while the data is coming from the Jamaican real estate market, honestly, if you are selling anything or consulting or just trying to exist as a professional online, this applies to you.
Okay, so here's the mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack how the digital billboard, and we'll define that in a second, is replacing the traditional handshake.
And we're going to look at why that polished, high-gloss American style of marketing is actually failing in markets that value community over commerce.
It's the death of hype.
And the return of the human.
Let's start with the stakes, because I think that's where this article really grabbed me. I was reading the section on the emotional landscape of Jamaican property, and it just stopped me in my tracks. Because usually real estate advice is all about, interest rates or square footage, but this was about history.
If you miss the emotional context, you miss the entire logic of the strategy. The source defines property in Jamaica not just as an asset class. It's not a stock portfolio.
Yeah.
It is a repository of history.
There was that specific line about the house your grandmother swore would never be sold. That hit me hard. It immediately raises the stakes from business to, betrayal if you get it wrong.
Think about the weight of that. In Jamaica, and in a lot of diasporic communities, owning land is the ultimate signifier of sweat equity.
Right.
It represents migration. It represents parents who went to the UK or the US, worked double shifts for 30 years, missed birthdays, missed Christmases, all to build that concrete structure back home.
So when that family decides it's finally time to sell, maybe the grandmother passed away or the family needs the liquidity, the client isn't walking into that office looking for a deal.
No, not at all. They're walking in with a massive amount of anxiety.
They aren't looking for a salesperson.
Exactly. They are terrified of the salesperson. They're terrified of the slick agent who sees their grandmother's legacy as just another commission check. The source argues that the client's primary motivation isn't greed. It's the search for safety.
They want a steward, not a shark.
That's a great way to put it. And because the emotional stakes are that high, the barrier to entry isn't your marketing budget. It's not how nice your suit is.
No, the barrier is.
The barrier is, can I trust you with my family's history?
Which brings us to the solution the article proposes, the digital billboard. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw that term in the notes, I had a very specific image in my head.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
I was picturing those blinding LED screens you see next to the highway, flashing ads for personal injury lawyers.
Thankfully, no. We are not talking about highway distractions. In this context, the digital billboard it's a metaphor. It refers to a short, intentional, direct-to-camera video introduction.
But, and this is the part I found so refreshing, the source is aggressive about what this video is not.
Yeah.
It effectively lists every trend on Instagram and says, don't do that.
It explicitly warns against the influencer style. No dancing, no trending audio, no quick cuts. And definitely, under no circumstances, should you use a motivational speaker voice.
So it's rejecting that whole $1 million listing aesthetic. Slow motion, walking out of a luxury car, drone shots, techno music.
That might work in Los Angeles, where the culture is built on entertainment, but the source argues that in a culture like Jamaica, which is deeply rooted in respect and reality, that bravado backfires.
It signals hustler.
Or that you're trying to distract me.
Right. If you're that polished, what are you hiding?
The article uses this phrase that I think should be tattooed on every marketer's forehead: clarity without bravado.
Clarity without bravado. That is strong.
It's the golden rule. The goal of the digital billboard isn't to impress the client with your production value. The goal is presence. The viewer needs to see your eyes. They need to hear your natural speaking voice.
So they're scanning for, what, micro expressions?
Subconsciously, yes. Is this person grounded? Or are they rushing me?
It's a vibe check.
It is a literal vibe check. And in the digital age, we've lost the ability to do that in person because everything is remote. So this video is the surrogate. It's the digital handshake.
There's a specific Jamaican phrase the article cites that I want to spend some time on because I think it unlocks the whole psychology here. It says the viewer is watching the video to answer one question. Is this someone I can reason with?
That phrase, "is this someone I can reason with," is doing so much heavy lifting.
It's such a specific choice of words. It's not, can I do business with them? Or are they nice? It's, can I reason with them?
To reason with someone in that Caribbean cultural context, and specifically in Jamaica, it means to have a sensible, grounded, respectful exchange of ideas.
It implies a mutual humanity.
Exactly. You reason with a neighbor. You reason with an elder.
So if I can't reason with you,
then you are irrational. Or you're arrogant. Or you're too corporate. If I can't reason with you, it means you are going to talk at me, not with me. And if you were selling my grandmother's house, I need to be able to talk with you.
this connects to what the expert in the article calls social accountability. Because Jamaica is an island. It's a small society.
This is the difference between a mega city like London or New York and a place like Kingston. In New York, you can be an anonymous jerk, close a deal, brung a bridge, and just vanish into the subway. You'll never see that client again.
But in Jamaica,
reputation sticks and word travels. You cannot hide behind a corporate logo. You are socially accountable for your behavior. If you screw someone over, their cousin knows your mechanic.
Right, the network is too tight.
Exactly. So this video introduction, this digital billboard, isn't just marketing. It's you putting your face on the line. You are signaling, I am real, I am here, and I am willing to be seen.
That's a vulnerability that creates trust.
It is.
I want to quote Dean Jones here, the founder of Jamaica Homes, because the article quotes him on this exact point. And he just nails the distinction between saying and being.
Mm-hmm.
He says, trust in real estate isn't built by saying you're trustworthy. It's built when people feel you understand what property actually means to them.
That is the paradox of sales, isn't it? The more someone tells you, trust me, the less you actually trust them.
It's like when someone starts a sentence with, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I immediately think, wait, were you lying before?
Exactly. Trustworthy is not an adjective you can apply to yourself. It's a badge someone else gives you. And functionally, the digital billboard, this simple, unscripted video, is the transmission mechanism for that feeling.
It lets the client decide if you earn that badge before they ever even email you.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's get practical. We know what it is, a simple, honest video. We know why it works, social accountability and the reasoning vibe check. But where does it live? Because the source mentions websites, sure. But then it highlights a specific platform that I think U.S.-centric marketers completely sleep on.
We have to talk about the WhatsApp factor.
Yes, WhatsApp. In the U.S., it's just another messaging app.
Yeah.
But the article treats it like the backbone of the economy.
Because in many parts of the world, the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, parts of Asia, WhatsApp is the internet. It is the operating system of commerce and family life.
The article describes this user flow that I found so fascinating. It's not about SEO. It's about the forward.
Imagine the scenario. You're a returning resident living in Toronto. You want to buy land back in St. Elizabeth. You don't go to Google and type Realtor St. Elizabeth.
No, you call your auntie who lives down there. You ask her who's good.
And your auntie doesn't send you a link to a shiny corporate bio page with some headshot from 2005.
No, she forwards you a video file on WhatsApp, a video of an agent standing on a property, talking normally.
And she adds a text that says, check this person, they make sense.
That endorsement, that forward, is incredibly powerful. It's word of mouth, just digitized.
It transfers the trust. The trust your auntie has is transferred to the video. And the source makes a brilliant point here. Even if the client doesn't watch the video immediately, the fact that the agent has one creates a signal.
It signals openness.
It says, I have nothing to hide. Here I am available. It's transparency as a strategy.
So if I'm an agent listening to this, or really anyone who has to build trust to do their job, how do I actually execute this? Because the article has a section called the normal adult theory.
Which is a great name.
It is a great name, but it's surprisingly hard to do. I know from my own experience, as soon as a red record light goes on, my brain changes.
It happens to everyone. We have this conditioned response to a camera. We think we need to perform. We put on the news anchor voice or the, hey guys, YouTube voice.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel.
Exactly. And the source says, stop it. Just stop. If you do that in a high-trust market, you look fake.
So what's on the authenticity list? How do we pass the normal adult test?
It's deceptively simple, calm lighting, clear speech, natural posture, and this is the big one, simply looking into the lens and speaking like a competent human being.
No scripts.
Bullet points, maybe, but if you're reading a script, your eyes move. People see that. It breaks the connection.
Right.
But the most important piece of advice in the don'ts category, and this really struck me, was do not dismiss local realities.
I wanted to dig into that. What does dismissing local realities look like in a video?
It means don't gaslight your client about how hard the process is.
Oh, right.
Real estate in Jamaica, like many places, can be bureaucratic. Titles can be lost. Government offices can be slow. If you get on a video and say, we make it quick and easy, guaranteed.
The client knows you're lying.
Or worse, they think you're an outsider who doesn't know how the system works. If you pretend the challenges don't exist, you signal incompetence.
So quiet confidence, which is another term they use, means acknowledging the mess.
Yes. Quiet confidence is looking at the camera and saying, look, obtaining a title in this parish can be a slow process. It might take 6 months. There will be paperwork. But I know the system, I know the registrars, and I will be with you every step of the way to push it through.
Wow. That is infinitely more persuasive than it's a breeze.
Because it's true. It grounds the relationship in reality. It goes back to that idea of human before transaction. If you sound like a commercial, people hit skip. If you sound like a partner, they listen.
We've touched on this, but I want to explicitly define the user persona here. Who is this really for? The source seems to suggest this isn't for the speculative investor buying a condo to Airbnb.
No, the primary target here is the diaspora, the returning resident.
Walk me through their mindset.
These are people who occupy a very specific liminal space. They're Jamaican, it's their home, their culture, but they might have left 20 or 30 years ago to work in the US, UK, or Canada.
So they have the money and they have the heritage, but they lack the current context.
Right. They remember the Jamaica of 1995. They don't know the Jamaica of 2025. They don't know the new laws. They don't know the current market rates.
And there's a fear there.
A deep-seated fear, frankly, of being taken advantage of by locals who see them as walking ATMs.
That's a really delicate dynamic to navigate. You're an insider and an outsider at the same time.
Exactly. And that is why the video is so powerful for this specific group. It allows them to stalk the agent in a professional sense before they ever make contact.
It lets them assess the agent's character from the safety of their living room in London or New York.
It reduces the intimidation factor. They don't have to pick up the phone and risk being sold to.
The article makes a brilliant distinction here about handling.
Yes.
It says people don't want to be handled. They want to be understood.
Handling feels like what you do to a crisis or livestock.
Or a customer complaint. Let me handle this.
It implies management, manipulation. Understanding implies partnership. That returning resident doesn't want to be handled into a sale. They want to know that you understand their journey, that you respect the sacrifice it took to get the money to buy this land.
If you can convey that empathy in a 60-second clip,
you've won. You have won the trust. The sale is just the paperwork that comes later.
You know, this whole discussion really flips the script on how we usually view technology. Usually, the narrative is that technology creates distance.
Right.
We use apps so we don't have to talk to people. We use chatbots so we don't have to hire support staff. But this argument is that we should use technology to start the relationship, not replace it.
That's the nuance that makes this deep dive so important. It's not about using technology to avoid human contact. It's using digital tools to establish an analog feeling.
High tech to achieve high touch.
Exactly. It's using a smartphone to replicate the feeling of sitting on a veranda and reasoning with someone face to face. It's recognizing that in a world where I can fake a voice, fake an image and fake a review. The only thing I can't fake is my own presence.
It brings us back to Dean Jones's philosophy. The source ends with a thought from him that I think applies to every business, not just real estate.
That's a great one.
He says, people don't remember every detail you explain, but they remember how safe or stressed they felt while listening.
That is the ultimate metric, emotional safety.
We talk about KPIs and conversion rates and click-throughs, but maybe emotional safety is the only metric that matters in a high-stakes service industry.
I think you're right. If a client feels stressed listening to you, even if your facts are right, you've lost. If they feel safe, even if the news is bad, you have a client for life.
And in a world that is increasingly flooded with AI avatars, deepfakes, filters, and polished nonsense,
Authenticity becomes the scarcity. That's the economic takeaway. When everything is fake, being real is the premium asset. The source calls it the premium listing.
authenticity is the real premium listing. I love that.
It leaves us with a bit of homework, I think.
I always hate homework, but go on. What's the challenge?
Well, the source poses a really provocative question to the reader, and I want to pose it to our listener. Whether you are a real estate agent, a consultant, a freelancer, or just someone trying to date.
Oh, this definitely applies to dating.
If you were to record a 60-second video of yourself right now, no script, no ring light, no prep, just you talking to the camera about who you are and what you value.
Okay, scary thought.
Would that video show a polished salesperson trying to close a deal? Would it show a character you're trying to play? Or would it show someone that a stranger could look at and say, yes, this is someone I can reason with?
That is a terrifying question. Because I think for a lot of us, if we're honest, the answer is, I don't know.
It is. But if the answer isn't, yes, I can reason with this person, then you might need to rethink your digital billboard. You might be broadcasting static instead of trust.
That is a question worth asking, no matter what industry you're in. It really changes how you think about that little camera lens in your pocket. It's not a selfie machine.
It's a trust transmitter.
It certainly is. Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive, a fascinating look at the economy of trust, all the way from the hills of Jamaica to your WhatsApp inbox. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye.
This has been The Deep Dive.